Pokémon, whether you have played any of the games or not, its influence on pop culture is undeniable. Its popularity spawned a trading card game, a manga series, and an anime series, which are still popular even today, and it all began in Japan with two games, Pokémon Red and Green versions. Pokémon was created by Satoshi Tajiri and was heavily inspired by his childhood hobby of collecting insects. Satoshi and his friend Ken Sugimori created game development company Game Freak on April 26, 1989. Satoshi came up with the concept of Pokémon when he remembered his childhood hobby of collecting insects and thought his idea would be perfect for the recently released Game Boy and its link cable. Game Freak pitched the idea to Nintendo, but Nintendo wasn't impressed and were denied several times. Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario and the Zelda franchise, convinced Nintendo to give them a chance as he had an interest in the project. They were given a small budget for their project and thus development began in 1990. Satoshi was heavily inspired by Ultra 7, a television show in which the protagonist uses giant monsters containing capsules to fight alongside him. This gave him the idea for the name Capsule Monsters, but due to some trademark issues, the name had to be changed to Pocket Monsters. The official artwork for all Pokemon was created by Ken Sugimori, who has done the artwork for all Pokemon to date. Junichi Masuda created the iconic music in the game and the cries for all Pokemon, despite the limited hardware of the Game Boy. After debugging was complete, Mew was added into the game, which was risky as if it could have added glitches it wouldn't have been able to correct. As a result, Mew is not obtainable by normal means. After nearly 6 years, development for the first Pokemon games, Pokemon Red and Green versions, was complete, making it the longest development period for any game in the series so far. Pokemon Red and Green were originally set to be released on December 21st, 1995 as suggested by Pokemon Flyer, which explains the trademark year of 1995 shown in the opening sequence of every game. Pokemon Red and Green were officially released in Japan on February 27, 1996 on the Game Boy, and had left Game Freak nearly bankrupt due to their small budget, which could explain the delay on the release date. Sales on Pokemon Red and Green were a bit slow at first, but when Japanese magazine Koto Koto announced a special event to distribute the secret legendary Pokemon Mew, sales began to rise. With the increase in sales, Game Freak decided to follow up Pokemon Red and Green with Pokemon Blue later that year. Pokemon Blue was released in Japan exclusively to people who had a subscription to Koto Koto magazine on October 15, 1996, and to the public on October 10, 1999. This version was a slight upgrade from the original games that fixed several glitches, and also updated the front Pokemon sprites to closer resemble their current design at the time. Other notable changes were the in-game trades, which you were able to obtain a Graveler on Cinnabar Island that evolved into a Golem, and a Haunter in Cerulean City that evolved into a Gengar. These were changed to Electrode and Jynx respectively. Cerulean Cave was also redesigned, having a completely different layout. The opening sequence was also altered as Nidorino was replaced with Jigglypuff. While this version, along with its predecessors, was never truly released outside of Japan, it became the groundwork for the international release. When getting ready to release the international versions, it was decided that Pokemon Blue was to be used as a base, providing the graphics, game engine, and script. These games were to be called Pokemon Red and Blue versions, and were released in North America on the Game Boy on September 7, 1998, along with the anime which aired the same month. Within a year of its release, Pokemon Red and Blue became a huge success, but this didn't go without some criticisms, which included some minor complaints that the Pokemon sprites didn't resemble their anime counterparts, to more serious claims that Pokemon was anti-Christian or promoted gambling. Despite this, Pokemon Red and Blue quickly became one of the best-selling games on the Game Boy, even after being released towards the end of the Game Boy's life cycle. Pokemon Red and Blue went on to sell a combined total of 9.8 million copies in North America alone, with Pokemon Blue just barely outselling Pokemon Red. With the success of Pokemon, Game Freak was motivated to begin work on a sequel, but decided to make a game inspired by the anime, which had become very popular, in order to buy more time to develop the sequels. As a result, Pokemon Yellow version was created. Pokemon Yellow was released on September 12, 1998 in Japan and on October 18, 1999 in North America. Pokemon Yellow had many changes inspired by the anime, notably having Pikachu as your starting Pokemon. Other changes include battles against Jesse and James, gym leaders having different teams, and most importantly, being able to obtain all starter Pokemon in one playthrough. The Pokemon sprites were also redesigned to closely resemble their anime counterparts, however, their back sprites remained the same as in previous games. The Pikachu you obtain in this game is a regular Pikachu with a few exceptions. Mostly aesthetic, but others include not being able to evolve, being the only Pikachu in the game, and learning Thunderbolt at level 25. If you manage to teach Pikachu Surf, which requires Pokemon Stadium, then you can play the surfing minigame Pikachu's Beach. A friendship mechanic was also implemented, although this only affected Pikachu and its attitude towards the player. Again, this was merely aesthetic, and the only gameplay differences made was whether you would obtain Bulbasaur in Cerulean City. This game mechanic would later fully be implemented in the following games. Pokemon Yellow was received generally well, but some had criticized it for being made to hold off fans until the sequels were released. Despite this, Pokemon Yellow still managed to sell 8.8 million copies worldwide, even as it was released at the very end of the Game Boy's life cycle, which is a testament to the popularity of this series. February 27, 2016 will mark 20 years since Pokemon Red and Green were first released and will be re-released on the 3DS Virtual Console in Japan and Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow everywhere else. These games will be exactly the same as they were 20 years ago, with the exception of using wireless communication instead of link cables. Even as Pokemon reaches its 20th anniversary, its mark on people is still apparent as many people are still playing the games that started it all. So what game introduced you to the series? Hello, I'm Avery Gill Gamer. I really hope you enjoyed my first of many videos. If you like this video, then why not subscribe? I will be uploading more game related videos in the near future.